Hello, Daily Drafters. Today is Tuesday, December 7th, and thanks for joining me for today's Daily Draft. Let's just hop right on into another Innistrad Crimson Vow Premier Draft here and open a nice little Mythic Rare in Henrika Domnathi. Not sure I've played it with or against this card yet in Limited for this format, but happy to take it pack one, pick one. Certainly not going to complain about it. 17lands.com has this as one of the top 5 performing rares or mythics in the set, I believe. So we're going to go ahead and slam Domnathi here and see if we can hold on to black for dear life. Let's hope we don't get pushed off of it. Good news is we're not passing a lot of good black here. Next best card in the pack, I think, would be Imprisonment. And after that, probably Celebrant, and I'm not really happy post pick 2 or 3 in this pack. So we'll go ahead and just take our rare and move on with our life. Okay, so some good things here. We've got Fodder and Gift of Fangs. There's also a Lantern Bearer. Those 3 cards are the cards that are sticking out to me. Wolfstrike is fine, but I don't want to be looking to get into green. Ceremonial Knife is fine, but we can probably pick up one of those later if we want. So I think this is between Fodder and Gift of Fangs. I think Lantern Bearer is arguably the best card in the pack. Maybe Fodder could be better, but there is an advantage to taking a black card over another card because we already have a double black here. It's not like we can even splash this card. We have to basically be mainly black. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Catapult Fodder. I like that a little bit more than Gift of Fangs. It's also a nice little defensive card, so we can try to get up in the air with our flyers and hit them with this 3/4 flying Death Touch lifelink. So we'll go ahead and stay black here. Interesting. Well, we picked up a Fodder. This has more toughness than power on both sides. And there's an Ancient Lumberknot here. Do we go for it? I don't think green-black is particularly great. I think the best card in this pack is Flame Blessed Bolt by a pretty good margin here. But if we can get a Lumberknot this early, then we can kind of build around this, and maybe we can get another one. There is an argument to taking Grizzly Ritual here, again, to stay black. I think this Lumberknot might wheel. It's not a very popular deck. I think I'm actually going to stay green, and I'm going to hope that in pack 11, we see the Lumberknot back. And we can, or stay black, I mean. And we can kind of feel out our way towards green-black on the way there if we need to. So here we have basically Courier Bat, Pointed Discussion. I think I'm going to take my first Pointed Discussion here. Hookhand Mariner is probably the best card in the pack. Maybe Laid to Rest, but I really am not a fan of the green-white deck, and that's where this card goes. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take Pointed Discussion. I suppose the backside of this having lifelink is a bit of a combo with Courier Bat, but I'm fine taking my first Pointed Discussion here. Again, just want to stay black. Again, we can stay black, so there's a Phalanx. This, we would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We would need 2 cards left in the pack for this to wheel if we wield that Lumberknot. And I think Serpentine Ambush, Crushing Canopy, Bloody Betrayal are probably going to be the last 3 cards in the pack because they're basically all unplayable. But we'll go ahead and take a good black card here. And if the Lumberknot and this Phalanx wheels, we might be able to go into the green-black Butts deck. Okay, so only black card is Doom Descender. Again, there's an argument to staying black, but we don't have a great combo with it so far. There's also Armored Cathars, which I've liked, but that's much more of a black-white, or a white aggressive card. I don't know if this deck is leaning aggressive. There's Scattered Thoughts, which I do like. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the black card again. Like I said, I think we know we are 100% black in this deck, and we're still trying to feel out other things, and we're hoping for a pick 10 or pick 11 Ancient Lumberknot to see if we can wheel that card there. We are almost certainly not hooking our neighbor up to the left in black at all. Not a lot of great options here. I think I'm just going to take Evolving Wilds because I'm not willing to commit to a second color for any of these cards. I really do like Brine Comber, but that's not black at all. So we're just going to go ahead and take the land here. So there is Entomber, Siphon Essence. I think I'll just take the Aim for the Head, again, to stay black. Best card in this pack is probably Siphon Essence or Massive Might, but we'll just take the black card. Both black cards came back, which is good news. Mediocre news is the fact that both of these cards are not good. So let's take Witch's Web in the event that we do get the Lumber Knot back and we want to move into green. I don't want to play either of these black cards really in any deck. So we'll just take that, leave it in the sideboard. Lantern Bearer Wield. Okay, that's interesting. Well, we're definitely going to take Lantern Bearer here. Next pack would be the Ancient Lumber Knot pack. But we're definitely going to take Lantern Bearer and see what comes back. Okay, so it did not wheel. So black-green is not a deck you want to fight over. If someone took it, then we definitely don't want to be fighting them over the black-green deck. So let's take Heron of Hope. Suppose we'll take Undying Malice as a black card here. Vampire Slayer, sure. And then Geistlight Snare. So we didn't get the Phalanx back either. It's important to note there. So, pack 2 here. We're not really committed to a second color. We have a Lantern Bearer, but we're not committed to blue necessarily. We are committed to black. So if we take a look at the black cards in this pack, neither of these is another copy I want of. There is a Restless Bloodseeker, which is good. There's also an Abrade and a Flame Blessed Bolt. I've been impressed with Restless Bloodseeker. Again, it helps us stay black, and I think it's about equal comparable power to both of these cards here. So I'm willing to take the Bloodseeker here over a decent removal spell in red. Because we still don't know our second color, and this is still a fine card in any black deck that we could play. So we'll take that. There's an Abrade. There's also an Angelic Quartermaster. Not a card I've had a chance to play with, but it's been very impressive on the other side of the battlefield. I think it's what I'm going to take here. This is a card that I'm willing to move into a second color for. Yeah, we're definitely going to go ahead and take the Quartermaster here. Okay, so there's another Bolt. We don't need any green cards here. There's another Lantern Bearer, a Grisly Ritual. Only white card is Beguiler, which is not great. So if we think we're going white, we could take Beguiler or Grisly Ritual. We could take another Lantern Bearer if we think we're going blue. We've seen a lot of decent red, but it's all been very early in the packs when there are other really good cards. If these cards were wheeling, I would move into red. But again, we're only picked 3. This is about as late as you can see a Flame Blessed Bolt without reading a signal on it. I think I'm going to go ahead and just take the best card in the pack. I don't think I need a second Grisly Ritual, and I'm not going to miss a Beguiler here. So I'm going to take a blue card to help go with our previous Lantern Bearer. Graph Reaver is a rare I'm not interested in playing. If we think black-blue, we can go Screaming Swarm. That card's been very impressive. There's also just Courier Bat. Shield Basher is not necessarily something I'm looking to pair with both of these white cards. I think if we had to pick white or blue, what's our best color right now? It's probably white, but not the Shield Basher. I think I'm going to take Screaming Swarm. We've got a bit of an unfocused deck here, but we have, like, objectionably powerful cards in this deck as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Screaming Swarm. And then a Mimic comes. So this is a little bit of a blue signal from our left. So I think I'm definitely going to go ahead and take the Mimic. Again, best white card is Imprisonment, which is good. And only black cards are 2 cards I don't want to play. But this card's insane. A couple drafts ago, they put it on our one of our creatures on the backside. And that creature has to die for us to not get a creature every single upkeep. So the Mimic is pretty insane. Okay, so another Screaming Swarm. No black. I don't know why we're not seeing black this pack. We cut it so hard in pack 1. I'm surprised that anyone to our left is able to like gather together any kind of black cards. So we'll take Screaming Swarm again. And I think we're looking to go down blue-black here. So we have a Thirst for Discovery, which is good. We have a Whispering Wizard, which is good, which only triggers on 4 non-creatures right now. I think I'll go ahead and take my first. No, I think I'm going to take Whispering Wizard. This has a higher upside in the deck. Wow. I think I'll take Blood Fountain here. We don't need 3 Screaming Swarms. It's been impressive, but that's a little much. And Patchwork Crawlers, it's a little slow, and we don't have a lot of activated abilities here. Catapult Fodder, maybe Restless Bloodseeker, but then it can't transform into anything for off the Bloodseeker, so we'll just go ahead and stay like that. Let's cut blue and black here. I don't think that's a card we're looking to play necessarily. Zilhoff Tumor might be fine in this deck. Steelclad Spirit. I'm not opposed to playing this card if it's looking like we're going to win in the air. And I feel like in this format, if you're playing blue or white or blue or white paired with blue, flyers are the way that you're going to be winning these games here. So I think we're pretty secure in blue-black. Blue-black is the quote-unquote exploit deck in this format, and we have 0 exploits so far, which is a little awkward. We'll see if we can pick some of that up. There's none of it here. Dying to Serve, not for us. We don't have a lot of blood tokens. There's a Doom Dissenter, another Spirit. Bit of an underwhelming pack, to be honest. I think I'll take I hate doing this, but I think I'll take a Doom Dissenter here in the event that we're able to pick up a couple of the good exploit creatures, because blue and black are the colors that have the most of them. So we'll take the Doom Dissenter and be very unhappy with it. Gosh, all the packs with the braids and bolts here. Maybe that would have been the route to go. But we do have a Bloodcaster, and we're going to go ahead and take the Bloodcaster and be totally fine with that. There's a Thirst for Discovery, a Scavenger, even a Specimen I'd be willing to wheel, possibly a Recluse. So keeping an eye on those. Okay, so we have another Lantern Bearer. We have a Gift of Fangs, another Bloodseeker. I think I'm going to take Lantern Bearer here. We have 17 creatures. 5 triggers for Whispering Wizard, but the backside of 3 bears would give us 8 triggers for it. 9 if you count Mimic. Definitely going to take Lantern Bearer here. Still looking for some exploit. We don't have a lot of removal, and by a lot, I think I mean any. Grisly Ritual. Yeah, that's about it, which is a little disturbing. So let's go ahead and take Gift of Fangs here, and we haven't seen a single Bleed Dry yet, and I don't think we're going to, unfortunately. So let's take a second Whispering Wizard. Again, I think these flyers are going to be a way we can really try to win this game off the backs of these Whispering Wizards. Would love a Scattered Thoughts, but I'm going to lean on the side of the creature over the card draw spell if I ever have to. So we have 26 cards, including a land, so 25, so we're already needing a couple cuts here. We'll figure out what those can be in deck build, but a little bit of an unfocused, awkward deck here, but I think it has some power in it that can help us get over the edge. Another Catapult Fodder, a Syncopate, a Grisly Ritual. Is this even doing anything in our deck? 1, 2, 3, 4. Not really. I don't even know if I'd play the first one. I think I'll take Syncopate. It's pseudo removal if you can hold up the mana before they cast the spell. Another Dissenter, but we have no exploit. We'll take the 3-drop here. It's a little more aggressive, and at least it can trade and count as another non-creature spell on the backside for our wizards. There's Cradle of Safety. There's an 8th pick Lumberknot. We could have had 2 of them. And then we could have had 2 Catapult Fodder. It looks like that might have been the fun deck to get into. I don't think the deck is particularly great, but could have been interesting. I guess I'll take Cradle of Safety. Don't know if it will play it, but we'll see. Could have had 2 Phalanxes as well, so we could have had the deck, but not today. Vampire's Kiss, sure, whatever. So we got a Specimen back. We have Catapult Fodder that works well with it. That's about it. Henrika works well with it to sacrifice a creature. Guess we'll take it. I don't know if we're going to play it, though. Nothing but blue and black here, which is good news for us, but we're at the end of the draft, and looks like we found a deck that I think was relatively open for the table, but I don't think there was great synergy pieces that were opened at the table for us to capitalize on being one of the only blue-black drafters at the table, unfortunately. So all right, so here we are at deck building. Let's take a look. Screaming Swarm could be another good win con for us. Double Swarm, we currently have 22 creatures. If we look at our non-creatures, don't need that. I don't think we need either Aim for the Head. Maybe we could play Cradle of Safety, but I'm not sure. I think I'm fine with the rest of these. We are lacking in the removal department, which is going to be a bit scary. We can get rid of Double Doom Descender because we have nothing to go with it. We currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 non-creatures to go with Whispering Wizards, which I think is good. I wouldn't mind playing this to help protect something like a Bloodcaster or a Henrika or a Screaming Swarm. We need 3 more cuts. If we cut 3 more creatures, we'll be at 17, which is still fine. I don't think we need the Specimen. It doesn't really work well in this deck. These spirits are never going to be attacking, but again, we're looking to Lantern Bearer up some of these things here in the late game. Does Catapult Fodder do anything in this deck? We have Double Entomber, which we might even cut one. We have Bloodseeker, which may not always be a 1/3. We have Henrika, and that's it. So not really. So 1 more cut here. I don't think we need Double Entomber. If we're going to play Double Spirit, we don't need Double Entomber. So that leaves us with 17 creatures, which I think is a good amount. We have a lot of flyers, and I think that's going to be our way to win these games here. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and add our lands. I think 17 is the right number for this deck. We have some 6 drops and a lot of 5 drops, so we got to be able to get there. And then we want 9 blue, 8 black. That looks like it'll be the deck. Awesome. So before we get into round 1, I'd love to invite you to subscribe to the channel here. Why don't you go ahead and think about getting in early before the ads come. We don't have a ton of subscribers now, but I'm really looking to grow the channel, and I would love your assistance in doing so. Drop a like on this video and check out some of my other ones. I think this is our 17th or so draft of this format, so putting out a lot of content for you all, and I'd really appreciate it if you went ahead and click that subscribe button for me. Let's go ahead and get into round 1. Two drop, 3 drop, 4. Yeah, this seems pretty good. I'm only happy now if we're able to win this game, so I'll update you later. There's a great turn 4 in play if we can draw any other land. I hate these kind of cards that always have the option to like discard a card to do something, because they always get priority. So, unfortunately, we blanked, which is a bit awkward. Not only did we blank, but we drew another 6-drop. We have triple 6-drop and 2 4-drops in hand, so let's hope we can hit a land next turn. They might think we're holding up Counterspell, which would be to our advantage. And now they know we aren't. That combo is really, really good. It's a card we can play, but it's not a good one. So we might have to play this and then transform it immediately to threaten blocks on these Griff Riders, because right now we're going to be taking 5 a turn. That's assuming we can even draw a land to play it. Oops. Looks like they might have missed their trigger there. Or missed their Minister opportunity. Yeah, so if we don't draw a land about right now, I think this game is just about over. Okay, so there's the land. You know, it's very possible they have an imprisonment, but all we can do is play Cruel Witness or this, and this has better blocks. So I think it's what we have to do. We won't be blocking with the Geist, so let's go ahead and just get... Well, no, we can't. We got to play this first so we can transform it. Almost messed that up. Let's go ahead and transform it. And then we'll get in with the Geist here. Hopefully they don't have removal for it. If they do, it's not looking to be a great game for us. But again, like I said, we didn't really have another choice. The Cruel Witness was just going to trade with something, so... They might have Piercing Light, but we again, we have to attack. Or we have to block. We can't just not block. Yeah, because right now we're still taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but gaining 3. So let's hope they don't have Piercing Light. Another flyer. All right, well, I think we just play Cruel Witness and pass here. We'll look to trade that off. They don't have great attacks with the Spirit anymore, because they only have 1 card in Graveyard, even if they pump it and train. If they pump it and train both Riders, we might have to consider trading with Henrika, which is not great. Okay, so it looks like they might do it anyway. Maybe just to get that training trigger, then after we block with the Spirit, they're going to discard a card to blink it. So that's expected. So do we block one of the Griff Riders with Henrika is the question. So if we don't, we go to 3, and then next turn they still have 2 flying attackers. Yeah, I don't really like it, but I think we need to. So they're likely going to blink the spirit, which makes sense. We'll stabilize a little bit more. All right, so another land next turn can mean we can start stabilizing the flyers here. So these Steelclad Spirits are doing almost nothing this game with all the flying they have, which is unfortunate, but that's what you got to do. That was almost really awkward. I forgot that the Fleeting Spirit could get first strike here. All right, let's see what they confine. So do we give it hexproof? I think we do. That means they don't have a good attack with the Fleeting Spirit anymore. Makes sense. Awkward. So we can't attack with Binding Geist anymore because they can give it first strike. So let's play Whispering Wizard and hope we don't die. Okay, so we need a land stat. Okay, so they can give this first strike, but we can't take it, so we're going to chump here. So there's the land. Grizzly Ritual gets rid of a flyer plus gives us a flyer. They can no longer give this first strike. If we play Screaming Swarm, we trade and go to 2. So this still gives us a flyer, so it at least lets us chump next turn. Who do we want to kill? The Heron? I think we want to kill the Heron. No, we probably want to kill the Griff Rider so that next turn when we drop Screaming Swarm, they don't have good attacks with their Heron. Because even if they give it the Minister. Now, they're going to be gaining a ton of life when they do this, which is not good. This also means we don't have to chump with our flyer if we do it this way. They do have the Minister Heron of Hope combo going, which is something we need to get rid of quickly. Otherwise, they're going to be up to 30 life before we know it. So I think we can afford to go to 1 here. That shouldn't be a problem. All right, so I think we just have to play Screaming Swarm here. And I would attack with the Spirit, but that would mean any removal spell wins the game for them. So I don't want to do that. Another flyer. Looks like they're literally just mono white. Mono white flying. Alright, well, they can attack with this. Give something else flying as well. So theoretically, they could give their Fleeting Spirit flying, train this, which still doesn't get it up to another fleeting, Screaming Swarm. So let's play another Swarm. No attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can mill them for 12 if we play a Binding Geist, but still not enough. This might be very, very similar to a draft we had last week where we have Screaming Swarms on the battlefield. They're gaining this life over and over again. We might have to think about switching to deck damage here at some point. And that was a bit of an awkward... I meant to hold that for the blood token, but kind of got ahead of myself. I think we could play this now on their cavalry. Make another flyer. These can both attack, and they have good attacks. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that leaves us dead to removal if we do this. Yeah, I don't think we can get that aggressive just yet. Because if we attack with 1 and they have something like Fierce Retribution and then they top deck Sigarda's Imprisonment, then we're just dead. So no attacks. We do have a little bit of flood protection if I don't mess it up by just dropping a random land again, so... Another flyer. We can exile that. Create another flyer. Do we need a Selhoff and Tumor? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can mill them for 14 right now. I don't think we want a Selhoff and Tumor on this board. Voldaren Bloodcaster is something we'll take. Still no attacks. If we top deck an enchantment spell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right now we can mill for 16. If we top deck an enchantment, we can mill for 20. Not quite an enchantment. We could also, well, let's see. So if we discard this, play the enchantment, then we can attack with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 creatures, which mills them for 20 cards. So theoretically, that's lethal. They would need to kill one of our creatures pre-combat. I'm going to go ahead and give it to the wizard here, because this is something that could attack more often. 7, 8, 9, 10, right? 19. Yeah, next to combat. So do they kill something pre-combat? Looks like they don't. And that should do it. All right, close game there. Really close. We got down to 1 and they were at like 30, but we managed to fight our way back. And with that, we pushed our way back into platinum. All right, here for round 2 on the draw, which is fine. This hand seems pretty good. Any land lets us go 2, 3, 4 drop. We could gift of, and we don't want to gift of Fangs out. It's a vampire, so let's not. There's the land. I don't want to let them know that I have gift of Fangs, so we'll put up an island. Gift of Fangs could be really awkward this game against red-black, which is the risk you take by playing that card, unfortunately. But now we have good blocks. Now we don't. Okay, so we could play Lantern Bearer, which has a good block against the vampire, but it's very mana inefficient. They're going to get another blood token, but I think we need to be efficient with our mana here and hope they play a non-vampire at some point so we can gift of Fangs it. They might be stuck on mana here. Looks like they're just cutting a 5-drop to find a land. They didn't find it, so that's good news for us. Might do it again. Okay. Ritual. So we can play Lantern Bearer, hold up Syncopate. I don't want to trade Cruel Witness for the 4-bear. I know they can just return it, which is really bad, but again, we're not in the business of just taking 3 over and over and over. But we can give the Spirit Flying off the back of the Lantern Bearer, which kind of blocks the 4-bear here. Discarding another 5-drop, trying to find their lands. They did. Is it something we can syncopate? Yeah, I think that's something we have to syncopate. So they don't want to trade, which is fine. Still no target for the Gift of Fangs. We could target our own Lantern Bearer with it just to kill it, get the Desperate Farmer to flip, get a Cruel Witness trigger and be able to play it next turn on the Spirit, but I don't think that's worth it. I'm going to tap like this so that we don't get priority after playing this Cruel Witness because we have a Gift of Fangs in hand. No attacks. That makes sense. We'll go ahead and flip our Desperate Farmer. So we will trade here, I think. So if we give this flying, this can't block. And then they're in a bit of a world of hurt here. This can also attack. Are we willing to attack with that right now? So we're trading 3 damage for 4 on the backswing here. Seems fine to me. Because we're gaining 5. So they'll have to take 8. That works for me too. So they're going to bring it back, but still can't block. Can't even attack this turn. Kind of riding on the back of this desperate or depraved harvester here and hoping it survives. That's something we can kill. Do we want to kill it after playing Whispering Wizard? Or just play it now? Get a little greedy by playing it after the wizard. I think I'm just going to do it now. And get on in there. So hopefully no removal. They're digging for it, that's for sure. No removal. Oh, of course they top decked it. They're going to double. They're going to use Flame Blast Bolt now. Yeah, okay, okay. Well, we have a game again. And that's a really good top deck for us. What we could also do is we could pitch this to a blood token and then disturb it on top of their forebear, and then we're really going to town here. Yeah, that seems very good. So let's do that, then we'll disturb it on top of their forebear, and then every turn we get 3/1s. I think we'll keep the land for the blood token. So now they kind of have to find a way to sacrifice their forebear. Okay, well, I guess that does it too. Awkward. Let's play wizard here. Well, let's first get rid of the island. Of course, they top-decked removal, which is annoying, but here we are. So let's play Lantern Bearer. We can trade that for the forebear again, give the wizard flying, get another flyer. You know, we can kind of start going to town. Sure. Okay. Screaming Swarm. Well, that lines up very well against their forebear, doesn't it? They don't get priority, so it looks like they top-decked a land, very likely. I know we're missing out on 2 mills here, but I wanted to see if they got priority first. Now they can't attack with their forebear. They can't even block with it. We don't technically have lethal, but we were close enough, apparently. One, two. Any land gets us Cruel Witness, we'll go ahead and keep. Vampires again. Well, we have Gift and Fangs, so Gift of Fangs. Hopefully they play at least one non-vampire. I think our last opponent played literally 0. Well, except for the Raconteur. They played 0 non-vampires that this had a target for. Just play a little wolf or something. Nope, the exact same start from our last opponent. We'll go Spirit here, and then we'll go ahead and attack. I think this is the exact same start as the last game, except we played a Bearer. But they had Epicure into Celebrant, and we had Spirit on 2. Like, it's the exact same game. There's a target for us. Go ahead and play Gift of Fangs here. This can now attack. Are we willing to attack with it? We trade 4 for 3. We'll be tied on damage. We play a flyer next turn. I think I'm all right with that. Oh, they're going to trade again. Okay, that's fine. So I think it depends on what we draw as opposed to what we, or to determine what we play next turn. Might also depend on what they play here. Another Visionary? Is that the same one? That's a different one. I think I'm willing to play Wizard in the event that we draw another non-creature. So we can start getting to town with the flyers here. It also threatens a block against their Visionary if we really need to do that. They might just kill it, which they will. So I'd rather have Witness on the battlefield, I think, against a red-black deck. Alright, so I think I'm going to leave Lantern Bearer back now, because it blocks either of these creatures well, unless they flip it. So they will flip it. That's awkward for us. Gotta hope we can draw our way out of this now. So we can hold up Cradle of Safety, which we will do. Because they're very likely to Markov Retribution. No, I would not like to put that into my graveyard. Well, that's bad. Do we chump? We're taking 8. I think we do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can cast the backside of Lantern Bearer on Henrika next turn, but actually what we can do is we can take it, and then when we cast Henrika, we can have them sacrifice a creature. We can sacrifice the Lantern Bearer. They're probably getting rid of the Recluse here. But then they still have a 4/3 attacker that we're not going to block. So we're going down to 7. We're going to go down to 3 after that. Don't think... Yeah, they haven't discarded a card this turn, so this isn't going to change. They're going to have 2 1s against our 1/3, so this lines up well against these two. We're basically going to go down to 3. Yeah, no blocks. So let's play Henrika. We'll go ahead and have each player sacrifice a creature. We'll hold the land here. Don't think there's a reason to give this +1/+1. So we'll hold it and hope they don't... They do have 2 bloods, so they might be able to draw out of this, but can't block. I think we're going to need to transform next turn. Okay, so we go to 2. We definitely need to transform. And I'm just going to do this because we have nothing else to do, and it gives it at least +1/+1. We'll play one of our lands, and we'll have this transform. So if I gave this +1/+0, we gain 5 and then die on the backswing, so that's not good enough. So no attacks. We do die to removal, but nothing we can do about that. Okay. One, two, three, 4. At least it's another creature here. Still can't attack. Not sure I see a way out of this one, especially because they have flood protection here, but we'll do our best. Okay. Draw 2 more cards for them. Create 2 blood. Looks like they're going to be drawing nothing but action for the rest of the game. We're not protected like that. Unless we draw Grizzly Ritual for one of these. So that can drain us. Of course, we draw another land here. So if they attack with... Well, I mean... We have nothing to do, so let's just... I get rid of a gluttonous guest. And a land. So if they kill Henrika here, then we're just dead. Looks like they will, so yeah. Yeah, we got to a point where we needed to stabilize and we only drew one spell from there, so, and they had a bunch of blood tokens to ensure that they would draw spells that were equal or better than ours, so. I think the pivotal point in that game was deciding not to chump with the Lantern Bearer, but I mean, if we did chump with it, then next turn we couldn't have used the sacrifice, and they could have started to push some more damage through still, so. Okay, Gift of Fangs and Opening Hand. Let's hope that for the third straight time we're not playing against a vampire deck. So they mulled a 5. Good draw for us here for turn 2. Please no swamp. Okay, so I think we'll need to go ahead and Gift of Fangs that now, so that they can't try to hit another land drop with it. I'm gonna try to auto pass in case they cast a spell. I don't want them to know we get priority for Syncopate here. Okay. We'll just be mana efficient and cast the Binding Geist. Looks like they might have removal, which is fine. Probably Flame Blessed Bolt to kill the Geist. Or Braid, that's okay too. No land. No land. Alright. We did draw a land. Let's go ahead and go to combat. Looks like they might have another removal spell. So am I willing to let Whispering Wizard get got by another Abrade or a Bolt? I think we need to. We need to try to apply pressure here. The Spirit doesn't do that. It's defensive, and we're looking to be offensive. So this might die to removal, but it's either that or play a 2/2 that does nothing, or 3/3 that is a defender. So we'll let them kill that one. Blood Hypnotist. We'll play Bloodcaster plus Spirit here. And then get in. Unfortunately, we were not able to put a lot of pressure on them while they were mana screwed here. So we gotta hope that this Bloodcaster and Lantern Bearer survive so that they can keep pushing damage through. Another land, but they're missing a second color still, so let's see if they have a play. Okay, would have liked to counter that, but okay, so let's get in. We can play another Lantern Bearer, but that's the only card we can play for the turn. It does put another damage of pressure on them. Does it change the clock? So right now they're on a 5-turn clock. This makes it a 4-turn clock, so it does change the clock. We could hold up Syncopate. I'm willing to bet this last card in hand is of a different color, so I'm going to risk it by playing Lantern Bearer here and try to get more pressure on them. Okay, that card doesn't scare me. Another blue is good. Do we want to Binding Geist anything? I don't really think we need to. Probably like to save that for a flyer. So we'll end the turn and hold up Syncopate. They almost assuredly have another land in hand. That's why they didn't play it and weren't getting priority. So it's a 3-turn clock right now. And we have Counterspell backup for our flyers. If they attack with the guest, I'm willing to trade with the guest because I don't want them to get to a blood token to try to draw them out of this. Because this has to deal damage to me to create a blood. Right now I'm taking 7. But that's okay. Oh, God. Okay. So right now this will kill both of our Lantern Bearers. And they get a blood off of the guest because this will have 2 damage marked on it. This will still survive. Is this counterable? I think it is. So they have another land in hand. We'll get rid of ours. Well. We can also just play a Screaming Swarm, which seems pretty good. So this puts them to 4. Are they just mono red? So they have to kill the Screaming Swarm here to survive, basically. Looks like they drew a card that does exactly that. And we die to that card. Wow. That is certainly something. So they had a land in hand, they top decked 2 Markov Retributions, and the second one killed us. Okay. Wow. Alright, on to the next one. I'm not sure there's another card in the format that would have won them the game on the spot there. So... could be a little slow, but that's okay. I'll play this because at least this can attack if they don't have a 2-drop. They do. Go ahead and bluff attack here. So we could use Cradle of Safety to kill that, but I don't think we need to. We'll just go ahead and play this because we have good blocks with the Spirit here. Alright, so far this looks to be like a very good blue-white deck. Yeah, no attacks. We have all the lands we need for the rest of the game, so naturally we won't draw any more. We're done drawing lands, so that's good. They just want to put this in the graveyard? Sure. Okay. Guess they just really want that in the graveyard. Okay. I thought I said we weren't going to draw any more of you. Problem with Screaming Swarm being 6 mana is that it's basically impossible to play this and hold up protection for it, because next turn we're basically just have to drop this, and if they remove it, I mean, what else are we doing? We've basically done nothing this game, so... They clearly have something here, so let's go ahead and play this and not let Screaming Swarm go into their counterspell mana. And then pass. If we draw an extra land, then we can wait 2 turns to play it. If it has a chance to resolve, then we can protect it with Cradle. Thirst, alright. Okay, that doesn't have good attacks right now. But the problem is, if they can get that to the graveyard and then put that on here, then they can start going to town. So there's the extra land. I think I still want to hold this back for next turn to play this and then protect it. So that's what we'll do. I mean, they're leaving out very obvious counterspell mana here, but look, if next turn if we draw another land, then we have no other play. So we can't afford to just sit here and pretend like they have one, even though I'm almost sure they do. So there's the Catgeist Chump. We'll let them put that on the Spirit here. Another Brinecomber. And they don't have enough Syncopate mana to not let us land this Screaming Swarm here, so that's good. And we can hold up Cradle of Safety backup for it. Still don't have attacks. There's the imprisonment. Now, if they do have syncopate for this, then we're kind of screwed, but... Okay, so they don't, which is good. Looks like they're just creating an army of flyers. They might have a way to remove this next turn in which all these can just start kind of going to town on us. I think, so, huh. Interesting. Okay, so the backside of Mimic does not have a good target on their side of the battlefield right now, unfortunately. I mean, we can make a 1/1 flyer every turn, but I don't know if that's good enough. But if we enchant our Swarm and it survives this next turn cycle, we basically just win the game. We could also just cast the front side to make another Screaming Swarm. That way we have a little bit of protection here. I think they're going to have Sigarda's Imprisonment, which is why they put the Brine-bound Gift on this now, so that they can get in next turn. As much as I would love to pitch this and play the backside on top of Screaming Swarm and make one every turn, I just don't think we can really afford that. So this allows them to make another Spirit when we do this. Because of the Brine-bound Gift, it's targeted by a enchantment spell. But if they start getting this in, or doing it themselves, it's going to be pretty bad. So we'll just let them have that Spirit, which is fine. And get rid of the main one. Don't think we need to attack. So let's see if they have the removal for... They're probably going to play it on the Mimic if they have another Imprisonment. Okay, so Dream Shackle, guys. Looks like they're trying to go in over the top. Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. So they're probably going to want to use it on this one, because this one can get exiled. If this dies... well, at this point it doesn't really matter, because they're just going to keep getting in, so... let's pitch this so we can play the backside and draw another land. I guess we're giving it to him. Yeah, it looks like this one got away from us here. So we're going to take 5 now, and then next turn we die unless we draw really nothing. So we can mill them for 8. Well, 6. Not good enough. And another imprisonment. So even a flyer doesn't get us out of this. I don't know what we have that will. But let's just kill that. A triple imprisonment, it looks like. Yep. Yep, blue-white flyers, my favorite deck of the format, so that'll go ahead and do it here. Yeah, our deck was just a little bit unfocused for a blue-black deck in this format. It didn't really have much of a plan going on. We just had decent cards that can kind of string together a couple wins, but when we ran up against focused decks like that last one there, at a bit of a disadvantage. So an underwhelming 2 and 3 today, but you know, I'm used to getting 2 and 3s a lot of the time. That's okay. Still waiting for the server to load here, but you know what, I'll go ahead and end this video for y'all. We finished up with a 2 and 3. Hopefully you at least enjoyed some of the games. I think a couple of our wins were worthwhile, and that'll do it for today's video. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow for your daily draft.